This device is called a split ender. You may remember the commercials from this from the mid-2000s.
The new and improved Split Ender by Talavera Hair Products is the only hair tool ever invented that safely trims damaged hair ends and split ends in minutes.
I used to have long hair.
Can we get a zoom in on this?
And I spent hours.
I do love that hair. Although this has been around for a long time, I've never used one, never even seen one in person. So I'm super excited about this. Even though this is considered sinful to use as a hairdresser, we would just use the shears, which towards the end of this video, I'll show you an at-home technique you can use on yourself by yourself if you don't want to get this or if this doesn't work, which honestly, I don't think this is gonna work, but we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. So this is actually the Split Ender Mini, and it is $70. It's just a compact version of the Split End Pro, Split Ender Pro 2. And that one looks like it's just a little bit bigger and it's $159. This is not a cheap tool by any means. So the packaging looks like this. And it does have this little seal here. It's one of those stickers they're gonna be able to tell that you pulled off with the squares. A lot of the Amazon reviews said that has to be sealed in order for you to return this. So it's not something you can borrow for a few days and see if you like, you know what I mean? In your box, you get 6 pamphlets, very eco-friendly, in all different languages. I'm a paper gal. I want a printed receipt. I want to write my grocery list on paper. I love paper, but this is a little excessive. We could switch to just the QR code. So you've got the instructions, and wow, we have Victor C., the inventor of the split ender. He has changed his haircut since his commercial. Oh wait, there it is. I love it. In the pamphlet, it goes to his story on why he created the split ender. I'll save you 2 minutes. He had long hair and he did what I do. He did what I do. He did what I'm currently doing. Excuse me, the South really showed up in that one. What I'm doing now is I'm literally pulling up my hair, and what I'll show you towards the end of this video, and individually snipping my split ends. And he got tired of doing that, so he decided he's gonna invent this tool here. I love that. Then it goes into how this actually works, and then a long list of directions. You get this satin bag with your tool here. You also get a comb, or would you call that a pick? 1 duckbill clip and a cleaning brush. Oh, and you even get batteries. They sprung for the name brand. The gimmick behind this tool is it's going to catch your split ends and it's going to snip them off. How this works, if you can see in here, there's 2 metal blades. It looks very similar to a clipper. Clippers you would use for short or men's haircuts. And then there's a rubber piece that rotates. Welcome back to art class. So pretend this is the inside of this tool. Woo, what would Bob Ross say? Here's a little comb. That's this part right here. That's gonna make sure your hair is straight when it goes through. Here's the rotating rubber piece. That's this piece right here. That's just the center of the hair plate. And then you have the blades, 1 on each side right here. Maybe a little tough to see, but they look like clipper blades. 1 right here, 1 right here. And if you turn it around, you can kind of see it back there. So the hair is gonna move through the combs, go up here, and any hairs that decide to stick up, it's going to snip off. The hairs that are fine, that don't have split ends, are gonna make it through the pass. So anything that sticks up, it's chopping off. So what this means is the tool really can't recognize what's a split end. I mean, how could it? What it's doing, it's moving the hair through the center plate, and any hairs, like, do you see that? I have some sticking up right here. It would go ahead and cut those off, no matter if they're split ends or not. And fair enough, the tool doesn't have a brain. It can't determine what is split and what is not. It's just going to cut off anything that is out of place that sticks up when it rotates through, if that makes sense. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It just could cause some thinning if you keep doing this. For the batteries, you press this will pop open, and you'll put these little guys in here. It's 3 AAAs. We need to put this back on. This is where the hair is going to go. It does say you want to start on clean, dry hair, and you're using very small subsections. Extremely small for me because I have the mini version. My hair is clean and dry, and I actually ran the flat iron through it. The pamphlet says you can use it on wavy or curly hair, but me personally, I wouldn't. I would straighten your hair. Again, I know nothing, but to put wavy hair through this, I feel like it would cause it to pop up more, and you'd end up having pieces cut that weren't supposed to be cut, if that makes sense. Yeah, it says here, works best in straight or wavy hair. If you have curly or freeze hair, you could probably straighten your hair before using the split ender. I love that. You could probably do it. This is the directional plate. It can go up or down. The instructions say it should always be pointing towards the ground, depending on what side you're using. So I'm gonna start here, so the direction should be this way. Okay, how do you turn it on? Oh, that's cool. So it doesn't actually turn on until you push the clamp, and then it's off. The directions say to start at the top and work your way down and to do 3 passes. I'm not gonna start at the top, I'm gonna start at the mid shaft because there's no split ends at the top. That's going against the directions, but for me, as a hairdresser, that makes 0 sense to start at the root when there should be no split ends at the root. The mid shaft maybe, but I'm assuming you would just do the ends, but we'll see. We'll start in the mid shaft. Why am I nervous all of a sudden? Very thin subsection, comb through it, take this in and pull down. Okay, very hard to see, but there are a few in there. Maybe this is an option on the Pro or the larger version, but you could pick the length you wanted it to cut off. This one is trimming off, oh, it says 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch. Well, which is it? So let's just say it's 1/4 of an inch. This tool is only cutting off 1/4 of an inch. So even if it made a mistake, it's not a huge deal, but over time that could be an issue. And it says to do it 3 times. I'm just gonna do it one more time. And you can see, let me take this off so you actually can see what I was talking about in the diagram. This rotating blade. Oh, okay, duh, that's a safety feature, so you can't put your finger in there and the intrusive thoughts are taking over. So this must not work unless the guard is on. I have those all the time when I'm cooking. I don't know why, I would never do it. Put your hand in the blender. No, I will not do that. You can see the rubber rotating that the hair will go through and the blades will snip it. Very thin sections. And again, I would make sure that the hair is very straight and that you comb through it. It has to go through those teeth first. So if the hair is all curly, it's gonna cause it to push up and cut unnecessary hair strands. Here we go. We have some hair that it pulled out. Oh, well look at that. That one actually did have a split end, but it shouldn't have been pulled out all the way. I couldn't find any black paper so you could see this. Oh, but look at this birthday card. It has a happy birthday or it gets the hose again. This little card envelope so you can see, possibly. So this hair did have a split end on it, but it didn't need the whole hair ripped out. Why I think that happened is because that subsection was too thick. There we go, speaking English again. So let's thin it down. Yeah, there we go. A lot of the negative comments about this tool were that it pulls your hair, and it does if the section is too thick, obviously. So this is gonna take a minute, especially if you have a lot of hair. If you are blessed, I'm gonna keep moving up because so far I'm not really seeing much in the hair trap, but in fairness, a lot of my split ends and damage, it's at the top. I am kind of wondering if you have really damaged ends, if it would thin them out. This tool is supposed to help you save length, be able to grow your hair out, just targeting the split ends, which we covered. It's not gonna be able to target split ends. There's no way to target split ends unless you do it by hand, one by one, or get someone to do it. And I've only known one person. I have a friend that does split end haircuts, the no haircut, where she will spend hours picking through your hair and chopping off just the split ends, but it's an extremely expensive service. Here's the true test. This is a very damaged hair extension, but over time, this would probably thin the ends out. So it does pull the hair a bit. The sections need to be super small. And it's also gonna tug your hair if you extend the hair past this, obviously. The section width needs to be smaller than the tool. If you have it larger, it's gonna contract it together and tug it. So it needs to be thin and not very wide. Another hair extension. Not sure if this will pick this up, but lots of split ends here. There's a few in the collection plate, not as many as I was expecting, I guess. That could be good or bad. Another hair extension up here. And we'll take it from the root like the directions say, why not? And we'll do 3 passes also like the directions say. Does make it feel better. I haven't formed an opinion on this yet, but the only issue I could see long-term is maintenance. It doesn't seem like there's any maintenance other than doing a light brushing and cleaning. All tools have to be maintained. Clippers have to be oiled, changed, cleaned, sharpened. Shears have to be sharpened, tightened, loosened. Anytime we cut hair, we want to use the sharpest shears. If you're using shears at home, they're going to be a little bit more dull compared to a professional set. But how many haircuts are you doing? One on yourself, your kids, so maybe 3, 4. Some of y'all got 6 kids though. Some of y'all have 6 kids. How do you do that? Let me know. Whereas a hairdresser may do 15 haircuts one day. That's a lot. I don't want to do 15. They do a lot compared to what you're doing at home. So they don't need to be as sharp or maintenance as much rather. Anyway, a sharp pair of shears. What will happen if you use a dull pair of shears is very similar to cutting a steak. Yes, you can cut a steak with a butter knife. You can hack at it, whack at it, saw at it. It's going to take you forever. And you're going to cut your steak and it's going to have this frayed edge or line where you hacked at it with a butter knife. Or you can use a really sharp knife, do a couple clean passes, and it's a beautiful line where you can see the marbling of the steak. So they both cut the steak. One looks a lot nicer, it's a lot cleaner, there's no damage to the edges. Same kind of thing with shears. Yes, you can use a dull pair of shears, craft shears, mannequin shears on your hair. It will cut your hair, but sometimes in return, it's actually going to split your hair, create more damage, because instead of that clean edge you're getting with sharp shears or a sharp knife for the steak, you're getting a jaggedy edge. So you may have more split ends, more damage. So how would you maintenance the blades? But if you're the only person using it, you wouldn't really need to maintenance them that often, as long as you're keeping it clean. This is the really damaged part. I do hide it well with oil. Actually, it does look better. What? So this is the split ender side. This is doing nothing. There's still some split ends here I can see. Let's empty the collection plate and see what we have going on. Quite a bit of hair there, considering I don't really have much hair. Call me crazy, but I'm not seeing any that have split ends. Are you? There's one split end. That one has breakage. That one has breakage. There's a split end. So some of these have split ends, but some of them don't. So it would appear that it did just cut random parts of my hair, which is okay because again, how is it to know? But honestly, I'm not seeing as many split ends as I thought. I thought this was all gonna be majority split ends. When you look at my hair, you can see there's a really bad split end. There's a split end that has a split end. This has a breakage point. Lots of split ends here on my hair extensions. Let's get Brenda and give it a go. You don't even need to see up close. Her hair is fried. We've done so much to it. The split ends have split ends. I've cleaned the trap and we're gonna make sure the arrow is going down. What? Yes. There's still a lot of split ends left, but the gimmick behind this is it's trying to keep your length, or it's intending to keep your length. She honestly just needs a whack. You can see Brenda had more damage than me. We've got longer pieces, a variation of lengths actually. Again, not seeing many that have a split end, but when you look at her, you can see there's still tons of split ends and breakage points. So for the split ender mini, I don't love it, but I don't hate it. I love the concept. However, it could be a big miss if the person using it used too wide of a section, too thick of a section, it pulled their hair out, because a lot of the complaints were it does pull their hair out, but it has to be so thin. It's time consuming. It can't really target split ends. Again, the only way to do that is to literally look with your eyeballs and target it. So of course it's going to cut some that aren't split ends, but it did seem to miss more than I thought it would, even going over it 3 times. So if you wanted to do this at home without this tool, you don't need this. You just need a pair of shears. Remember, they need to be sharp. I'll link below a really good pair to use at home. They're under $10 on Amazon and they are sharp. To target split ends, you can do what's called dusting. I've showed you this before, but if you haven't seen it, here it is again. 3 fingers, and you're weaving the basket. In, middle finger holds the hair on top, just like this. Do you see that hair sticking out? Cut. Move down. Any hair that sticks out, you would cut. So it's essentially doing the same thing this was doing. Now it's up to you if you wanna really get in here and see if it's a split end. Me, not really. If it's sticking up, I'm just gonna do it unless it's a huge piece sticking up. but you just glide this thing down. You do want to be very careful though. You don't want to cut your knuckle. And when you're gliding down, you also don't want to cut a huge chunk of hair. So you have to be careful. Just give yourself some grace, take your time. This is a process. This isn't something that takes 5 minutes. If you do your whole head, it's gonna take about 30 minutes for me, and I have very fine hair. Another way to do it, take thin sections, give it a twist, and your hair should be dry, by the way, dry hair. Give it a twist, just like a rope. I hope this card works, where you can see the hairs, but hairs will be sticking out. Cut, cut, cut all the hairs that are sticking out. Again, be careful. You don't wanna cut your actual hair. If it sticks out, we're assuming it's a split end, it's damaged, or it has a weak point or a breaking point where you see that texture change, and sometimes they'll have a little ball or nodule on it. That's where it's going to snap and break off, but it's hanging on for dear life. So doing this all over your head is a good way to keep your length, but get rid of any damage. And it's mocking what this tool is trying to do. But you don't want to do this often. That was fun. Fun to try. Again, I'm not really sure about the tool, but if it were me, just based off the price, this is $70, or I can buy a $10 pair of shears. I would just do it myself. The results are more predictable. You have more control. It is a little messier. There's hair flying everywhere, but it's not much hair. You're cutting off the same length as them, little 1/4 to 1/8 of an inch, but you have a lot more control. And if you can get someone to do it for you, you got a boyfriend that's gonna do that for you, that'd be great. That would help a lot. You just sit there, relax, get a tea bag, show him this video and have him chop away. I could see that going south though. You get into an argument, you turn your head and whoops, there goes your hair. So I don't know, maybe do it yourself. But anyway, thanks for joining me here for this product review. Don't forget, I'm here every single Friday, 1 p.m.-ish Eastern time.